1.2.3 metals and non-metals. 1.2.3 metals and non-metals. So you've probably done an experiment in class where you've looked at the properties of metals and non-metals. My class, remember, lust after McDonald's. Lust McDonald's. So lust stands for lustrous, which means that their metals are shiny. Secondly, we've got this idea of M. It means that metals are malleable, it means they can be bent into shape easily. The C stands for the conductivity of metals because they have delocalized electrons. Then the D stands for ductile, which means they can be stretched into wires easily without breaking. And the S stands for sonorous, which means when you hit them, they make a ringing noise because all the atoms vibrate at the same frequency, making that beautiful sonorous ringing noise. The properties of non-metals are like this. They're brittle, which means they don't bend easily. They break when a force is applied to them. They insulate. They're not good thermal conductors because they don't have delocalized electrons that can move through the structure. And they don't have shiny surfaces normally. They are dull. So brittle, insulators, and dull. Now, in terms of the chemistry of metals and non-metals, they are different. Metals react to form positive ions by losing electrons. The opposite is true for non-metals. Non-metals gain electrons and form negative ions. So they form negative ions by gaining electrons to have a full outer shell. If you look at the periodic table, you can see where the metals and non-metals are. Metals are at the left-hand side of the periodic table. In fact, the most reactive metals are in column 1 at the far left of the periodic table. Then group 2. Then there's a middle group called transition metals. If you look at the top right-hand corner of the periodic table, that's where you find the non-metals. So if you have a look on the little list there, you've got helium, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, neon, silicon, phosphorus, sulfur, chlorine, argon, cerium, bromine, krypton, iodine, xenon, and radon. Those are non-metals. So if you want to find the non-metals, you need to look at the top right-hand corner of the periodic table. And what you'll notice from the list that you can see there is there aren't as many non-metals as there are metals. Make sure you can identify in the periodic table where the metals are and where the non-metals are. And make sure you can understand the difference in terms of the chemistry, where metals lose electrons to form positive ions and non-metals gain electrons to form negative ions.